Hey guys! So following current developments with the coronavirus, I began to research more about what scientists are doing to combat the disease, and one of the main topics I found research are vaccines. But what are vaccines? Unlike most medicines which treat or cure diseases, vaccines prevent them. Vaccines contain the same germs that cause a disease. For example, the measles vaccine contains the measles virus. But they have been either killed or weakened to the point that they don't make you sick, and some vaccines even contain only a part of the disease germ. A vaccine stimulates your immune system to produce antibodies, exactly like it would do if you were exposed to the disease. And after getting vaccinated, you develop immunity to that disease without having to get the disease first. When Edward Jenner introduced the first true vaccination with cowpox, protection from smallpox became safer, but there were still issues. The cowpox material could be contaminated with other germs and sometimes was transmitted from one vaccinated person to another, leading to the inadvertent spread of blood-borne pathogens. However, we've come far in the last 200 years. Today, there are many different kinds of vaccines, and each requires different processes. The key to all of them is production of one or more antigens, the portion of the microbe, either a virus or bacteria, that triggers a host immune response. There are four main types of vaccines. The first type is live attenuated vaccines. Attenuated means weakened, and essentially these vaccines are a slightly weaker version of the natural infection, yet it is so similar that they create a strong and long-lasting immune response. Just one or two doses of these vaccines can give you a lifetime of protection against a germ and the disease it causes. But live vaccines also have some limitations. For example, because they contain a small amount of the weakened live virus, some people should talk to their healthcare provider before receiving them, such as people with weakened immune systems, long-term health problems, or people who've had an organ transplant. Also, they need to be kept cool, so they don't travel very well. That means they can't be used in countries with limited access to refrigerators. The second type is inactivated vaccines, which use the killed version of the germ that causes a disease. However, they usually don't provide immunity that's as strong as the live vaccines, so you may need to take several doses over time, known as booster shots, in order to receive ongoing immunity against these diseases. The third type is subunit recombinant polysaccharide and conjugate vaccines, which uses specific pieces of the germ, like its protein, sugar, or capsid, which is a casing around the germ, to produce a targeted immune response by the body. What's more, these vaccines can be administered on almost all individuals, including those with weakened immune systems and long-term health problems. However, similar to inactivated vaccines, booster shots are required for long-term immunity. The fourth and final type of vaccine are toxoid vaccines, which uses toxins created by a germ to have the immune system target the harmful products produced by the germ, rather than the entire germ itself. Live vaccines are used to protect against measles, mumps, rubella, rotavirus, smallpox, chickenpox, and yellow fever, while subunit recombinant polysaccharide and conjugate vaccines are used against Hib disease, hepatitis B, HPV, whooping cough, pneumococcal disease, meningococcal disease, and shingles. Inactivated vaccines are used against hepatitis A, the flu, polio, and rabies, with toxoid vaccines used against diphtheria and tetanus. What's more, scientists are still working to create new types of vaccines. DNA vaccines are easy and inexpensive to make, which produce strong long-term immunity. And recombinant vector vaccines, or platform-based vaccines, act like a natural infection, teaching the immune system how to fight germs. The Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research is one of the 6 main centers for the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which among its many roles regulates preventative and therapeutic vaccines, blood and blood products, and cell, tissue, and gene therapies. Such research focuses on creating new knowledge in the fields of diagnostic and therapeutic product innovations, while ensuring that those products are safe, effective, and available for the public. So what can such an understanding of vaccines help us in preventing the current COVID-19 outbreak? Well, we first need to understand some characteristics about the coronavirus, namely that the coronavirus is relatively slow to mutate. This means that any effective vaccine for this virus will be broadly effective across geographically separated populations over a relatively long period of time. Scientist Lazzaro Spallanzani from the National Institute for Infectious Diseases in Rome and the Forensics Division of the Department of Biomedical Sciences and Public Health at Ancona University Hospital figured out this unique quality about coronavirus by performing genetic sequencing tests with technology developed by Thermo Fisher Scientific on samples on the virus taken from Italian patients. They then compared these samples to a reference genome that was sequenced from a sample of the virus taken from the original Wuhan outbreak. The differences between the two virus samples was very small, with only 5 new variations appearing in the latter Italian samples, which is an early indication that the coronavirus remains fairly stable even over the course of transmission across multiple individuals and populations. Currently, therapies and vaccines to treat the disease has been developed. The order of treatments presented here is by how close they could be to approval, starting with the treatment in phase 3 trials, followed by others in phase 1 studies, and then preclinical development. Approval, of course, would only come if they are proven safe and effective, and while some of these human trials are underway, it won't be around for another year that these vaccines could be in widespread use. I hope this video helped you to learn more about vaccines and its relevance with the current coronavirus.